Hey guys, welcome back to Lucid. And hopefully we have a few turns here because there's not a ton of things happening here in Mountain Arena, but we do have a major shifting. It's looking like after the big victories that Mictlan had, he's about to get coalitioned. So we will see if indeed you can coalition somebody on this map, and we'll see if there's definitely going to be some advantages to getting coalition. You can just defend some choke points and possibly hold a coalition off. We'll see if Mictlan's up for it. Vansford at Province 9 has the Steel Ovens. I guess that about 2 turns ago when I saw 4 Dwarven Smiths in it. And then episode 2 of the series confirmed this theory. Meanwhile, the Vanheim throne is another gem province. They've had some very good land. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I also have a 30% enchantment discount site in the northwest corner of Sarmatia region, in addition to the 20% conjuration site that Niflheim ported. Mictlan's backstage crew, really an undersold feature of this nation. My entire blood hunting chaff economy was created by just 2 commanders who started recruiting slaves on turn 10 or so in a 2,600 population province, has fallen to 1,300 or so. In exchange, I've recruited like 400 backstage crew members serving in both siege chaff and patrol duties. I'll be starting up the next recruiting center near Sarmatia to further scales production. Final economic note. Blood hunting until 2 turns ago has been almost entirely done by my capital mages, who've been basically who have basically only done fighting, blood hunting, and summoning all game, meaning he hasn't researched with them. I've now started manufacturing sanguine dowsing rods and putting a bunch of the blood ones to work. Essentially, all my mages who are researching have alquils, but even so, it's still pretty slow going with Drain 3. I've started making Skull Mentors and spamming Dark Knowledge with a few Revenants and Skull Staffs, all thanks to the Circle Master who summoned my Archdevil. Nice. The defeat of Vanheim's expeditionary army is no secret. There are rumors of a coalition brewing. It will be interesting to see what a coalition can do on this map. In a normal map nuke game, I'd expect to be attacked on all sides while potentially forced to fight Vanheim's neighbors for their territory. As it is, the geography of the map is such that only Vanheim can do anything about my army between our capitals. Only Ubar likely has the mobility to project power into the area before Vanheim is dead. It'd be pretty surprising for them to mess with that army when there's a much bigger army walking past their throne of knowledge. I mean, Ubar is basically out of the game now, too, so he probably doesn't have intel on this. I probably need to assign bodyguards in case Ubar has freedom and will to surprise corrupt my army with its extremely predictable maneuvers. Such an act would be pretty devastating, even with bodyguards assigned, since the Archdevil has good morale in enemy dominion, and I'll add gear to that army's leadership as soon as I can stop a turn in a lab. More importantly, my core lands near Mictlan and Sarmatia will be almost inaccessible to other nations that might want to disrupt blood hunting. At least I can defend the choke point, at least if I can defend the choke point between the thrones. I intend for essentially all new recruitment to go to an army of the throne row in preparation for whatever is to come. Overall, I think the point is, I don't think a coalition can save Vanheim. Either Vanheim can degrade or destroy that army, or it will take their border fort and then the capital. It's hard to imagine a coalition pressure forcing it to turn around. We get a message from Niflheim. Can't remember if I've sent you a message already, but I sort of forgot you casting this until it was pointed out a few turns ago before the first episode of the series came out. I've decided to retire from pretender life and enjoy life as a jolly elf-hating mercenary. A much simpler existence. Besides, as long as I outlive every elf nation, it's a win in my book. Okay. Hey. What to say? I don't know. Okay, I agree with Mictlan's appraisal. It's going to be very hard for people to stop him from eating Vanheim, but they potentially can put a lot of pressure. And if they're able to actually close, like to take and start putting pressure through here, especially if multiple players do it, he could start becoming unwound. The only thing is, I'm not really sure what happens next. Like, if they're successful and they take it, like, what happens? I don't know. Okay, so let's see. We've got Mictlan patrolling out some forces from TNG. On the Vanheim front, we have this. So yeah, the fort of Niflheim has been destroyed. This is a kind of interesting fight. I had moved that because I did the last turn where I destroyed the fort and some other things. No spite. It just there's no way. I don't know. There's one turn I thought to either destroy the fort or not destroy it, and it was 100% lost. So I figured might as well destroy it. So I'm thinking like, okay, like these guys are definitely we got a boatload of barbs and a boatload of these really killy lizards. Like, of course they're gonna murder these jags. Turns out the answer is no. These guys have really good defense. 2 defense, but then with Blood Surge active, I think it's 3. And pretty good protection. They've got quickness on a lot of them too, so they're just blendering things. And this is actually just ridiculous. I don't think any are even turned into Jaguars yet. It's a pretty solid build. Very solid playstyle. I love his mage support here. It's so good. Doesn't lose a single dude taking out these guys. The lab was destroyed here, I think, as well. But yeah, this is all basically for Mictlan to take now. The Mictlan army down south. So he hasn't yet taken these forts. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but there's a big Agartha stack here. And Agartha has pinged this, and there's a Sphinx here, which potentially can like soul slay and some other shit. It's going to be a little spooky. Fire snakes, which have a ton of fire resistance. It's like magma kids won't hurt them, but they can hurt. I think they can. Yeah, they have venomous fangs, so they can hurt magma kids. Yeah, this is interesting. Agartha's clearly going to try to hammer into this. I don't know if his god can take it, because his god will have to worry potentially about Soul Slay, but I don't know what the Sphinx is actually going to cast. They're pretty unreliable. I think except for the Sphinx, it could kill everything there, but we'll have to see. But if this comes through, that's going to put a lot of pressure over here and maybe stop this army from going and eating Vanheim's capital. But it's moved south here, and presumably it's going to go on one of these forts this turn. Here, this army goes on top of this fort. It's got some Jade Serpents, which give the standard ability, and a lot of Aussies. There's about 40 Aussies, it looks like. Does he lose anything? No. Oh my god. Yeah, 40 Aussies. A lot of mage support. Look at this mage commitment. Whew. We'll have to see what Vanheim's going to do. I'm not really sure what they can do. I don't know if there's anything. Oh yeah, we'll go take a peek at this front. There's a big force on top of Ubar's capital, which normally it's like dangerous. You're worrying about Shaitan. Dione don't give a fuck. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, if you go watch our All-Stars game that I think Zach and I started, Zach ended up piecing out before it ended. But if you go back and watch that, I'm pretty sure one of the people we were fighting had Dione, and we figured out how to kill them with the Shaitan as part of, a seduction battle. But it's like extremely specific what you have to do. Extremely specific. Like all the item slots have to be perfect. And whether it would work against these fully kitted Dione with this particular kit, I'm not actually sure. Anyhow, That's that for this turn. Let's go ahead and go to the next turn. We'll keep this moving. All right, we got the new turn. Message from Mictlan. The Skirmish in 33 was a great demonstration of the advantages of this build. One Quickness caster and one Body Ethereal caster, plus an Indie Priest, led 12 Jaguar Warriors to victory against 50 high-damage troops, Barbarians, and Lizards with no losses, or even a shape change. Yeah, we talked about this. Vanheim burned down Niflheim's capital fort, and I assume Lab this turn. I think he would... I think he imagined that would upset me. Well, it was me doing it, so no, he didn't. As it turns out, it's great news since I didn't have all the siege chaff in the area, but otherwise would have had to stress about elf thugs raiding out of there even while besieged. There were no elf thugs. If there were elf thugs, maybe. I really want the capital's gem income. I can cheaply rebuild the infrastructure. Then I get the material siege strength. Then I can get material siege strength to the province. Not exactly sure what he means there. A dire portent. Let's see what this is. Eternal Pyre goes up by TNG. So this is really good for TNG because TNG can turn fire gems into these pretty cool little flaming dudes. And for Mictlan, it's a particular problem because they have built-in built-in bark skin on their bless. So they have -5 fire resistance. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. And oh my god, Lanka moving in, ready to just start taking some big fucking swings at Mictlan. Thunderstrike's coming out, these quickness guys. Has a lot of quickness demons. And this throne looks pretty undefended. I mean, what can Mictlan even do? He's got a stack here, which is some slaves and maybe like 50 jaguars. They can probably get here in time, but I don't think you can do anything. I think Mictlan can get some sacreds as part of the PD. Maybe that could be enough. I don't think so. Like, if I were Mictlan, I was looking at this, I would be thinking, let's evacuate this fort. Let's get the mages out of here. And maybe take a fight back here where I can be more prepared. Because this is looking real rough. Real rough. We have a battle here. Mictlan attacking Vanheim. There's nothing in this fort, so I think we know how this is going to go. They all disappear in a little cloud of moss body. He loses a Moon Priest, and then he has a Nahuli switch form. That's going to be a little bit of a painful loss, but something he can probably manage. He raids up this way. He's moved the army here on top of this throne, fort. And I'm sure he's cracked it. And then over here, we see a Garthus sends the god, and this is so ballsy. I'd be so worried about Soul Slay. Of course, he's casting Horde of Skeletons. Oh, he does cast Paralyze. Oh my god, he's so fast. He must fatigue out. Because the way this trample works is the more you trample around, the faster you fatigue out. Like it's going up by like 10 around. His fatigue is going up by like 10 around, despite the fact that he has 13 reinvigoration. Like, his fatigue is skyrocketing. I think the thing about this is it's not always great. I mean, you're going to be fatigue limited for how much you trample. God, what a cool pretender god. Just stomping all the humans. And yeah, this guy stopped casting Horde of Skeletons or Soul Slay or anything. He should have been casting Soul Slay. This guy only has 19 MR. He would have killed him eventually. But there you go. If you want to trust the AI is not going to try to Soul Slay you, you can super combat and stuff like this. And apparently they probably won't. God, what a monster of a god. Kills the Sphinx, wins the province. That was pretty beautiful. So now, because he took no losses here, he's going to be able to bring the whole army in and potentially have to fight this. I don't know if he can win. Well, he's got a lot of magma kids. Those are going to do pretty good against the Jaguars. I mean, the Jaguars are going to tear him up, but they're going to tear these guys up too. I don't really honestly know how this is going to go. I think the Great Olms are a bit of a burden. Like, they're not going to be great. Mictlan's going to have anti-magic. The magma kids are going to do good, but I don't know if they're going to do good enough. Like, I don't know if there's enough of them, because, like, they're going to blow up and die. Like, I think he needs, like, twice as many magma kids. I'm also not sure if there's just so much regen on this guy. I'm not sure if Mictlan can actually kill him with just the troops. I'm sure, like, Soulslay he could, but I don't think Mictlan has that. That's another problem fighting a coalition, is like your research targets get like really weird. Because like, oh, we need Soulslay to fight this guy, but you might need something different to fight, you know, Lanka or something. Like, Soulslay's not going to be very good against Lanka with quickness demons running at you. Anywho, this fort's cracked. Presumably he'll storm that this turn. And yeah. I think Ubar is cracked, so the fort's popped. I think he's summoning a lot of these ghouls, doing Arouse Hunger here at long range. Probably like with these Dione, actually, to reinforce this army and siege these forts down faster. It's really good play by Yomi. And presumably he'll be coming up here to take these thrones, or this throne. But whether he'll engage in the battle with Mictlan, I'm not sure. Tianqi, they have finished off Hinnom, and they are marching a big army over to mess with this throne. And I will just tell you, let's take a look at the Bless of Tianqi again. Yeah, I think these guys are going to fuck up Mictlan. If he can protect his commander so he doesn't get him sniped by Aussies, I think he's going to fuck Mictlan up, especially with what's in the theater. So the way I think this is looking like it's going to play out is like I don't think Mictlan can hold all these thrones. But then the question is, once people get all the thrones from him, they also can't really, especially if you're only like a 2-cap nation, you can't really let Mictlan exist as a 4-cap nation. So then how are they going to carve him up? How is that going to work on this map? I have no idea. And also, Mictlan has shown just amazing play so far. So, you know, even though there's these ridiculous armies building up on his border, while he's still committed to trying to finish off Vanheim. Also, Balin subbed out now. We got a ER0 to sub, so many thanks to him. Or Alfurious. But yeah, he's subbed in now. He's done a bunch of trading. He's trying to he's trying to build an army out of like duct tape and straws and God, I don't know, toothpicks and stuff, you know? It's like, okay, get all the women and children, let's fashion an army. So yeah, this is really interesting. Let's look through, make sure we didn't miss any of the battles. Okay, I think we've got them all. Let's go ahead and we're at 19 minutes. We can do another turn. I want to keep these kind of quick. Some of these other games have kind of been bogging down, especially when casting. Still moving towards Fire Throne. It's vital we take it's 6A stat change will be night and day. 6 attack. Lanka paying me for Eyes of God to see graphs and sights and flags. Won't see troops till we have Daman here. Up to 34 sacreds a turn at full production. Holding back a little for Stormstaff. Mictlan. I scouted Lanka's incoming army last turn. It's pretty scary. 230 sacreds, 18 mages. And the Sacreds have stats that are incredibly good in Turmoil 3, which is most of my land. Further, the Anasuras are fast enough to make contact before I can spam my point buffs. Diplo suggests that T and Chi is planning to strike at the Throne of Fire at the same time. I don't think I can do anything about that. The two Order 2 provinces, Vanheim Dominion, I have for fighting Lanka are 118 and 126. I'll expect Lanka will have predictable move into the choke point 118 in a couple of turns, assuming they don't waste a turn storming an empty throne. I discovered that my Archdevil's undead leadership and amazing flying movement gives me a way to deliver essentially every Axolotl I've made to 118 in time. Okay. I want enchantment 6 so that fatigue plays are an option for fighting Lanka. Fatigue plays, by the way, usually not amazing against quickness demons, but my brain doesn't go there as that's how we're going to fight this. But if he can get Lanka bottled up in like a fort gate, it could matter. Vanheim's lab burning campaign is slowing me down significantly. I need the army that just took the fort to do research next turn in order to hit enchantment 6, and I don't have the gold to build there, so my army will be withdrawing. Yeah, I actually burnt that lab down too. Anything I knew he wouldn't be able to keep, I destroyed. So my army will be withdrawing. Vanheim likely lacks the siege strength to take it, and I'd rather smash my new enemies decisively, even though it means giving up on my original plans to take Vanheim's capital, despite the new invaders. Okay, so already in one turn, he's decided I can't take Vanheim's capital yet. The opportunity to potentially wipe Lanka's Grand Army in order scales is simply too valuable. Province 118 is currently cold 2 before seasonal modifiers, which means Heat from Hell would be pretty weak there. But it might still be better than Grip of Winter, given the Raksha's fire vulnerability. Also, since we've managed to do a Grand Circus performance at Niflheim's capital, we're granting it back to its rightful owners. We just wanted the province so we could put on a good show. Niflheim was a good ally before we decided to vulture them and let them flee the column, and I've gained a lot of value from the Throne of Fire that they cleared on their way out of the column. As long as it exists in that column, they're making it life difficult for my enemies by at least denying them territory, and able to give me useful scouting information that may be more valuable than the province's income is to me. But I'd say my motivation is like 10% strategic and 90% that it's amusing, thematically appropriate, and a nice thing to do for a good ally who wants to stay in the game. How strange. A message from Tirnanog. Hey, sorry for the delay between updates. My current plan is to let Lanka and Mictlan grind against each other for a bit. Mictlan seems to think Lanka can beat them, but I'm hoping that once there's a big battle or two, I can swoop in to disrupt Lanka's economy. In the meantime, I'm going to try to take back my land from Niflheim, and if that goes well, maybe some more. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, Tirnanog really just needs some space to breathe. But it's interesting he's looking at how to basically stab Lanka when the time suits. And a message from Ubar. A little longer message here, but I assume that's okay, as this is my swan song. My first time playing Ubar in multiplayer, I really like the nation despite my complete inability to deal with Yomi. It is really strange to play a nation where the blesses are not very relevant. When asking people about Dione, most people point to Holy Scourges, and that it only needs a few hits and they are toast. Well, that is not my experience. What I have tried, using high-precision Just Man's Crosses, putting spam in front of long-range evocations, using advance and cast with Smokeless Flame, trying to attack before the buff cycle is finished, trying to HP route with most of the neighbors conquered. Uber has a hard time amassing high-hitting foot soldiers that could take defense down to get through armor once in a while. Well, I had my fun. Perhaps next time I find something, the videos will reveal something obvious that I missed. Who knows? Thanks for hosting. I definitely liked this map and had fun. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining, Ubar. It was really cool. It was probably one of my favorite wars to watch. And I loved him having to try to solve these puzzles. And he came up with things I probably wouldn't have thought of. Like the Smokeless Flame was actually a really good idea. But, Yomi just put fire gear on his mages. Let's actually start with Ubar. Oh god, where are they? Here we go. So, We've got the final battle for Ubar. Ubar has been busy summoning up quite an army. He's got these wyverns, a bunch of draconians. He puts up Storm, but before a lot of his flyers can fly in, oh, he's doing Gifts of Heaven. Now this can mess Dione up. But can they hit them? That is the question. Okay, this guy's got a Herald Lance. This guy's got a Flambeau, which is 3 times damage against undead. So it's like 90 damage if they can hit. Watch, he'll probably be killing these like undead here. You'll see like a 90 or something pop up. Oh man, this guy got yeeted. I don't know what happened to him. The Herald Lance dude looks dead. Oh no! This was like I was sitting here watching with bated breath. I was like, he's about to hit the Dione. And then he just gets yeeted. Oh my god. Okay, now one of these guys, this guy looks like he has been hit by for 25 points of damage. Not exactly sure how that part works. Gifts of Heaven, definitely a decent option here. I don't think we have Volume of Fire, though. Who's casting Gifts of Heaven anyway? Oh, we've got a Crystal Mage. Oh no, he's routed. This Crystal Mage too? Oh, he's a Communion Slave. That's why he's routed. Okay, the Communion's burning out. The stacking Fear Auras. We've got Prison of Fires. Oh, okay. Wrathful Skies came out at the end. Wow. Yeah, Ubar lost pretty much everything here. The Serpent King survived. Not a single Dione killed. Has he killed a Dione all game? I think he's killed one. There's other things that are worth noting. I don't know how much he was able to cast in large. Let's take a look. It's almost certainly the job of these Naminari here. And he's done a good job because he's got to resupply them with gems. Okay. Well, he should be able to get a lot of these. Yeah, so he's able to get enlarge on almost all of them. You can still trample them. With big air elementals. Right? Yeah. So air elemental spam is also totally an option. Like 15 air elementals might have routed this stack. I don't know if it would have killed things, but I think air elementals, like especially like I did a test that showed, oh, you could kill a Dione with the Holy Scourge if you get the kit just right. But it's like, okay, you put that in a real life game like this where there's chaff around the Dione and there's not one of them, there's 10 of them. You know, how many dudes do you need? All these questions start popping up. One of the things is you really don't want these guys getting popped by the Dione. So summoning in like 10 or 15 air elementals for a big important fight like this, and that's going to provide cover for these guys. In addition to, it's going to fuck up the Dione and get rid of the chaff really quickly. So I think probably a combination of that would have been best, but this really, I mean, Yomi's been playing just great here, right? Because these guys probably die every important fight, these Naminari. Right, but he keeps bringing enough with enough gems to do enlarge. It is really just very good play from But yeah, it looks like it's about it. I think that's really, I think you just, the way to kill it is a Holy Scourge, but it's not like people say where you just put a Holy Scourge and they die. You need like very specific kit. You got to deal with repel. You got to deal with a bunch of other stuff. You got to deal with chaff. And then air elementals are great too. The problem with air elementals is they're almost never going to kill the second form. But anywho, that looks pretty good. And he stormed the fort. There wasn't anything inside really. So this is now the property of Yomi. Very high income capital and very gym rich lands. In terms of gym income, Mictlan has been the top, but Yomi, where's Yomi? Yeah, they're creeping up there. TNG's looking very nice, but they needed this global to even get up to where Mictlan is. Mictlan's been site searching like crazy. Holy shit. All right. Mictlan. So Agartha moves in here. Mictlan storms here. Kills a bunch of dwarven smiths. Please tell me they took the hammers off these smiths at least. Okay, yeah. They don't have Conjuration. Oh, they do have Conjuration 5. Yeah. Rest in peace, Dwarven Smiths. You killed one slinger. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, so that happened. They've moved off to get back to a lab, and presumably they're going to come strike through here. This Locket army, okay, so 118. Where's 118? 118 is right here. This is a province with order in it. This is turmoil. Okay, so he's sacrificing the throne, and he's saying, I'm going to take a fight here. Because there's order here. He also should patrol out the unrest, because right now that unrest is going to give, I believe, it's going to be effectively turmoil 1. Though I don't know how the rounding works, so it might only be neutral scales. But you want to get rid of that unrest for sure. I don't know where the Archdevil is, but he's going to be bringing in a boatload of... Oh, man. Possibly can snipe the commanders here, but ruling that out, he's got no way of dealing with this, especially once Chaff arrives. Because like Chaff, it's going to be really hard to focus down these blenders. I'm liking the TNG position a bit too. This is going to be so interesting to me to see how this all plays out. This is going to be probably conquered by Diana or by Yomi soon. The Agartha army presumably is going to be rolling out. Ooh. This is only Heat 1 too, which means the Magma kids aren't going to be quite as good here. But I was saying, like, what is it? Well, I don't know if... I don't think Agartha can take this army. I kind of think it's going to lose. Especially if it gets reinforced by this in time, which it should be able to. Huh. This is really interesting to me. Let's make sure I didn't miss any important battles. Aka killing some whites. Okay, so I think that's it, guys. Pretty cool episode. Happy to record this and share it with you all. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time to find out what in the hell is going to happen.